Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and in this video what I'm going to do is talk about all my favorite VS Code extensions. So I'm going to go over here to my extensions. Okay, and we'll just start from the top and just go over ones that I like. Auto close tag. This is super useful. So watch this. If I go to my index.html and I want to make an h2 and I close it, it automatically gives me the closing tag. Super useful. Okay, the other one that's really nice is auto rename tag. So let's say I were to change all of these. I want to change all of these to an H4. I can go boop. And see, now the closing tags also change to H4. That's really cool. And if you're wondering how to do multiple cursors, you just hold down Alt and you can select multiple insertion points. Okay, so that's auto rename tag. I have a lot of different language extensions. Really, you just install those as you work with different languages. So I got code spell checker. This is alright. Like, it just tells you if you spell stuff wrong. CSS peak. What this does is that if you have a CSS style, so if I hover over this, I think, do I actually have a CSS file to go along with that? I do not, so let me make one real quick. So let's say link CSS. Let's make a style.css, and let's just make a .cheese, and we're gonna say that the color is red. Okay, now if I go back to my index.html and I hover over here where there's a class cheese, there you go, space every list. This is working, and I don't really use this one too much. But it's basically extension allows HTML and EJS code to go to definition, go to symbol and workspace. So basically what you can do. Let's try that. F1 dot cheese CSS style.css. I don't know. Let's try that again. This, you can tell this one I probably haven't used that much. Let's see here. Class, go to definition. No definition found for cheese. Did I not define cheese in the style? Dot cheese. Final references. Oh, here we go. Peak. Peak definition. No. There's style.css. Oh, well. Okay, so let's see here. ESLint, I just installed this. Okay. I actually haven't enabled this yet. But basically what this does is going to tell you if you have like JavaScript errors and stuff. And it'll actually like correct your JavaScript. Kind of like prettier, fixes the formatting, which I love. So look at the preferences, settings. Okay, let's see here. Let's just do save. Code actions on save. ESLint. Whether ESLint should migrate autofix on save settings. Yeah, run the linter on save or on type. Build on save, lint on save. Lint's code on file save using the configured lint tool. Options are file, package, workspace, or off. Leave it on the default. Test on save, run go test on save for current package. It's not advised to set this to true when you have autosave enabled. Makes sense. Linting on save, Java, I do have format on save. That's how I set up Prettier. So once I downloaded the Prettier extension, okay, I set up format on save. So see here, format on save, and that's going to run the formatter, which you choose from here. So I'm using Prettier, and that'll format it whenever I save. So let's create a JavaScript file. I have one. Okay, so let's say const. Let's try this. Let's do var myobj equals color red hello world. And see, this is not like super pretty because I have it all in one line. But if I hit save, well, in that case, it's going to keep it on one line. But if I were to do this, so I guess it's all not the prettiest formatting, something like that. If I hit save, see, it cleans it up for me. Okay, that's what Prettier is doing. Okay, so let's go back to extensions. Debugger for Java, ESLint, Go, Java extensions, JSON, live server. Live server just allows you to run index.html files pretty quickly, or just HTML files. So I can just right click on an HTML file and say, open with live server. And then it opens it up in the browser. There's nothing in that one, so. Well, technically, this should be all these H4s. So why doesn't that run, actually? So examine that. Interesting. Failed to load resource. The server responded with the status quo asks the favicon. Are the H4s there? Yeah, the H4s are there. Oh, there's no text in the H4s. Yep. So let's put some text in those H4s just to make sure that everything's good. Hello. And there we go. Good. Okay. Cool. So that's what live server does. Live share I haven't used yet. This should allow you to actually edit code at the same time. Markdown preview, this just kind of makes Markdown previews a little bit more fancy. So if I were to create a Markdown file, like this readme Markdown right here, let's right click it, open preview. This just looks like the standard preview. Let's see, here are the rules on how to use the enhanced preview. Okay, let's see, Markdown preview enhances an extension that provides you with many useful functionalities, such as automatic scroll sync, math typesetting. Okay, so I think it's just adding features to Markdown preview, which is, I generally am fine with just the default Markdown preview, but okay. Maybe for Java, this is all language specific stuff. Peacock. Peacock is why this is green. So what it does is, like, every time I open up a new window, see, it's going to assign it like a different color. If I were to open up a particular folder, so let's say I open up this folder, and see, I get like a random color, which allows me to tell the windows apart, which that one I like. Prettier, we already showed you what that does. Python, rainbow brackets, this I like as well. This makes it easier to tell your different JavaScript brackets. So let's say I were to create like another color, is going to be another object with another property called color. That's another object. And just notice that all the brackets have different colors. So that's essentially what it does. Okay, if I were to create an array, and then I'll say, okay, this is 1, and then there's another array in it, 2, 3, and there's another array in it, 4, 5. Notice how all the colors change. Just makes it easy to kind of tell which brackets go with which. Okay, REST client. This allows you to make API calls inside of VSCode. So if I open up a file called, like, you make these .http files, and then use a syntax like this, and you can actually run requests. So I can go over here. Let's see, how do I do this again? Oh, here you go. Click right here, send request. And what it does, it opens up the response over here. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Again, this is all language specific stuff. Telecode. That's specific for Python. Yeah, those are all the main sort of really useful ones that I use on a fairly regular basis. So that make my life a lot easier. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that and learned a little bit more about cool VS Code extensions. Um, aside from that, there's a lot of cool Chrome extensions that I use. So let me go to my Chrome extension library. So let's see here, more tools, extensions. Okay, this is Augury is DevTools for the Angular framework. I love eyedropper, allows me to pick colors from a website in case I like a particular color on a website and I want to grab it so I can use it in my website. Grammarly I use to correct my grammar. I haven't really used grepper yet. Harvest time tracker, that's for work. JSON viewer, this allows me to see JSON to make it look prettier in the terminal. So if I were to go to JSON placeholder and put this into the browser, see, this looks pretty nice. But without JSON viewer, it would look like this. Okay, so see, that's much more readable. Okay, React developer tools for working with React, Svelte for working with Svelte. Toby is this new bookmarking tool I just started using, which I like quite a bit. See, like I just open up a tab and it takes me to my Toby screen where I can see all my tabs over here to drag and drop them into these bookmarks, which is pretty cool, very useful. But I think that was pretty much all the main extensions. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't have that much in the way of extensions. Cool. So those are the main tools that I use to make my life as a developer much easier. If you haven't watched my bash scripting tool, I have bash scripts for a lot of the commands I use a lot. Trying to see here, is there any other really cool tools and customizations of my environment that make my life easier? No, most of that. Otherwise, I kind of really operate out of terminal. Okay, do everything out of terminal, but let me quit out of Postgres here. That's caps lock /q. There we go. Clear. But yeah, no, everything else is in terminal. And even in terminal, I don't customize much. I could though, I just don't. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this all works out of the box. Okay, so yeah, those are some of the tools I use. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.